US is now deploying its military to East Africa. The US is deploying additional troops to an East African military base. The military is claiming this is only in case they are needed to evacuate US diplomatic officials or civilians from Sudan, the Defense Department said. But Africans are not buying the same premise that they used during the Libya invasion, as officials revealed that as the military is preparing for the possible evacuation of the US embassy or American citizens, there has been no official request for either from the State Department. We are deploying additional capabilities nearby in the region for contingency purposes related to securing and potentially facilitating the departure of US Embassy personnel from Sudan if circumstances require it, a department spokesperson said. According to 3 US defense officials, the troops will be based at Camp Lemonnier in Djibouti. One possible response force would be a combination of Marine air power and Army ground units. Also, another red flag from these new and alarming developments is that the US already has hundreds of Marines at the base who are capable of carrying out evacuations if needed, including an aviation combat element known as Crisis Response Africa, one of the quick reaction forces set up after the attack on the US consulate in Benghazi, Libya, leading many African analysts to question the need for more military personnel if the team needed for evacuation is already established in the region. Many Africans are suspecting that the US military is using the current Sudan crisis to cement further the foothold in the regions that have seen a rise of other foreign military bases belonging to China and Russia. The US military official added that another possible response would be to bring in US special forces if the environment is too dangerous. Sudan has been roiled by armed conflict since last week, which many see as a proxy war. The nation's military is fighting a rival paramilitary force. Some hospitals have been overwhelmed by casualties, and many residents fled the capital, Khartoum, during a brief ceasefire declared Wednesday.
So guys, here we go again. It's in that video. There's 2 reasons why why America is sending more troops to Africa, to Sudan to be specific, right now. 2 reasons: Russia, China. That's the only reason they're sending more troops there, because they already have a troops there that can evacuate the embassy and Americans if needed. And so they have a crisis Air Force Africa something. It even have its own special name. So they have enough personnel there, but this is not an issue. This is the issue of they want to keep an eye on Russia and China, what they're doing, and just in case they want to cause a conflict. And they're not there to help Sudanese or to help the Sudan government to squash this war. Notice it, every single country America has ever gone to when it comes down to military operations, it never end well. It always gets worse. The country gets more poorer, more destabilized, and never recovers. Look at Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya. Look at Libya. So I want more African countries must stop accepting, matter of fact, kick all the American bases out of Africa. Period. We don't need American army bases on the continent, because they're not there to help in no way, shape, or form. They're just there for the American interests and for resources. That's the only purpose they're serving in Africa right now. They are quick to send army in Sudan, but yet they will not send any airlifting for Sudanese citizens to go to the States. Because if it was in, as I said in a previous video, when they had a war broke out in Ukraine, every single country accepted hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian citizens, giving them documents, housing, jobs, and all that. So why is it in Sudan now it's different, where they don't want to accept no Sudanese refugee? They're putting them in a place by themselves to stay there, but they're not accepting no Sudanese in the country and giving them documents to stay, work, or homes to live in. They're not opening up their homes to no Black African nations that have any kind of conflicts going on. So this is not a humanitarian help, or it's not nothing to do with aid. And just as well, the UN, that's why I dislike the UN so much, because even them are telling citizens of, for example, the Congo, which have a conflict going on right now, to go back to the Congo. They're not saying, oh, we have homes and space and document and jobs for you here. Come stay with us for 2 years or 3 years, and then you can go back home. But no, Not even one country have accepted a Sudanese citizen or a Congo citizen, a Congolese citizen to come to the country because of the war and what the conflict that's going on the continent. But they are telling them to go and stay back in their own country. They're not telling them to come and let's assist. But they want to send more army, which is not needed as is clearly stated because they already have army members there. But because China and Russia is there, all of a sudden, it's an interest of the Americans. They're going to say it's national security. Are they citizens? And this is what they use all the time to invade countries. That's what they did in Libya. That's what they did in Afghanistan, in all the stands over the world. Kazakhstan, I think is the name. Iraq, all those countries is what America continuously do. Destabilize countries for their own gain. All because of the global, it ties in with the global de-dollarization that's going on. Because more and more African countries now do away with the US dollar. So they don't like that. They don't want that because East Africa is currently in the process of talking. Like 8 different countries gonna have one currency, which is, it should be the whole entire continent. It should have one central bank. But let's hope that they come together and work on that and make it become a reality. Then they will have the economical power to push back on the EU and the Americans. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you agree with me, let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend. Don't know. Peace. Peace. One love. Boom.